Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the From the Stands podcast, episode number 39. We are here with you live on this October 9th. We are here on a Wednesday, here pretty late, but we have another episode for you guys, talking some big-time sports news. We got some big-time news coming from the NFL. We have some upsets in the Champions League over the pond. And then at the end, we'll talk about a little bit about basketball program switching conferences, which is something that is not too uncommon these days. But we'll dive into that a little bit later. But we have some big time news, I guess you could say, in the What's New With Us segment. Yeah, we had a pretty big hurricane come ripping through the old Greenville, South Carolina. About 95% of the people in the area here lost power and everything, which is another reason why we didn't come at you with another episode last week. Fezzy boy, how was life without power? You got it back pretty quick, so screw you. But
Yeah.
What was your experience with the old Helene coming through?
Not great, but thankfully we did get power back pretty quickly compared to some people. Like you were out for like a week.
I was out till Friday, 8 days, yeah.
8 days, something like that. Peter and Bryn were out for a while as well. So, yeah, no, thankfully with the baby, we got it back pretty quickly because if one more day, he wasn't going to be able to make it. We were going to have to stay with someone.
Did you flee to Charlotte? Because I heard someone say that you were about to go up there, right?
We almost did, but my sister and her friends went up before us, and they had to stop for gas, and this was like the height of it.
Yeah,
and they said that they stopped for like 3 hours just for gas, and little man wouldn't have been able to make it. And I was like,
yeah, that's insane.
Yeah, but it was all right. We survived.
Yeah, same here. We were out for 8 days, which felt like an eternity by the end. But the first couple of days was kind of nice because you're just you're kind of vibing. It's cool outside. We have shade from our trees in the back, so none of our property really had damage. So I was kind of like enjoying like keeping all the windows open, grilling on the grill a lot and stuff like that. But like by like day 4, you're like, all right, this is really getting old. So
yeah, it gets old quick.
So yeah, I'm thankful that we had power back. But yeah, one of the stories that I had was that kind of similar to the gas situation, but there's obviously people were just huge lines, and there's a QT right next to my house that was like, it was like the only one around that had gas, I guess. And I pulled up to the QT, and like you could see like on the other side of the QT, there's a line like as far as I could see, but for whatever reason, people were coming in on my side. There was only like 5 or 6 people, so I skipped, quote unquote, like an entire like horde of people on the other side of the gas station just because I was coming from the different side. So I got gas and got out of there, but we were already in pretty good shape because we had gas in our cars and everything, so we were kind of chilling. Yeah,
but that's good.
People go crazy in desperation mode, man.
Were you home for it? Like when the hurricane hit, did you like stay home?
Like when it was actually hitting?
Yeah, Friday when it hit. Like
I was home. Yeah, Thursday night into Friday. Did they
let you stay home, or did you decide to stay home, or what happened there?
Oh, for work?
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. So they said the day before, because they knew it was going to come in, that we could work from home. But then everybody lost power. The office didn't have power or Wi-Fi or anything like that. So they just gave us the day off, which that's nice. I actually felt stupid because I took that day off from work because it was just one of the days I had off or whatever. And then like obviously everybody had off. So I was like, that's really dumb that I lost a day to that. But then I came in the next day and they were like, yeah, you don't have to take that off. So I was like, okay, good.
Gotcha.
So I got it back. But yeah, there
you go.
Monday and Tuesday we were from home and stuff. So it was
sweet.
Pretty chill. But
yeah, I was gonna go into work. Yeah, I was gonna go into work, and we were supposed to work, but then I woke up and I was like looking at like some trees in the back of our property, and I was just like, dude, if those come down, it's gonna be bad. And then when we started driving around after, the storm blew over and everything was happening, I wouldn't have been able to get to work because both ends of the road where I have to get out were blocked off, like entirely blocked off. Wow. So even if I tried, I couldn't have made it. But I was worried that I almost went in early before it hit. I wouldn't have been able to get home, which would have been so bad.
Just park your truck at the end of the neighborhood and walk.
Oh my gosh. No, it would have been like, it was worse up where I had to go. And I like, there was a bridge that washed out. And I was just like, dude, like,
jeez.
Wouldn't have been able to get home. That would have been crazy. So bad. But
That's
luckily,
insane.
I didn't go to work. I
When-
just stayed home.
Yeah, when did you go back?
That Monday.
That Monday.
After that
How was it
weekend.
after that? Like when you went in?
It wasn't bad.
It wasn't bad, okay.
Thankfully, work
So it was
had
still pretty
power and-
crazy, like on the Monday and Tuesday, but
Yeah, it was crazy for a while. Finding diesel fuel was crazy.
is your
But
truck
yeah,
diesel?
Yeah, it's
Oh, my word.
clean diesel. But yeah,
That's
so
cool.
I had to try to find some fuel before I ran out. But
Nice.
yeah, we survived Helene.
good.
That's
yeah.
what we did.
Yeah, thankful that most everybody has power now. So
It didn't wipe
but-
your favorite podcast off the map, people. We're still here. We're still kicking. Some of you are probably upset about that, but we're here. We're going
Yes.
strong.
Thank you, wives and family members. In other news, Fezzy Boy had a birthday here on Sunday. The old,
Did.
2-4, 2-5?
2-5, 2-5,
Oh,
25.
man, old fart.
My knees say I'm 60 and my back says I'm 48. So it's fine though. But we did have everybody over.
Young
Sam and his
gun.
wife came and we party hardy. Just watched some football, ate some tacos. Anybody doesn't know, I am a taco lover. I could eat tacos every day.
Taco
Yeah,
savant.
Turned 25, nothing too special about it, but here we are.
There we go.
I
There we
did.
go.
Did you see what I got for my birthday?
I did not. I saw a big box that was empty, but I didn't see
Yeah,
what was in it.
everyone pitched in. My wife got both of our families and some friends to pitch in. I got a Blackstone for my birthday, dude.
Oh my, that's hype.
Yeah, I've
That's
been
pretty
cooking
nice.
on that the last few nights, dude. It's
There
so
you go.
nice.
That's
so nice.
awesome.
But yep,
That's
good
hype,
times,
dude.
good times.
You make some breakfast food on there too. Some pancakes,
I haven't done that
some
yet,
bacon.
but, I can't wait. I can't wait. But
Get out there
it's
on
a
a
good weekend.
chilly fall Saturday and just get some
dude,
pancakes going.
the crisp air is here, dude. I'm so hyped.
That's
so
hype.
hyped.
Well, I'm very glad for that. I guess it wasn't in the box then. It was a Blackstone. I just saw
There
an
was
empty
definitely a
box
box.
in the kitchen or something. But
Yeah. That was
That's sweet.
part of the gift. But
cool.
Yep.
Well, I'm glad
was a
you were
good
able
weekend.
to enjoy your 25th birthday.
Appreciate
Big
it.
stuff coming in next year. We're gonna pop off, and in a year
That's right.
we will be sponsored.
That's right.
Anyways,
To the moon.
moving on to another What's New with Us. We're gonna do a little bit of a fantasy check-in now that we're 5 weeks into the NFL season. I know you guys care so much about our fantasy teams, almost as much as we do. But we're going to check in a little bit and see how our teams are doing. Fezzy Boy, you want to open it up?
Oh, no. Your boy's on a 4-week losing streak. I think I won the
Ooh.
first week against Sam, and that was my only claim to
Literally.
any sort of success.
Oh,
Rattle off
man.
four of those bad boys off. I'm projected to lose to Peter this week, who's currently 5-0. So
Yeah.
doing great. Just did a little business with him. I'm sure you guys are going to be kind of ticked at me.
Yeah, dude. How much did he pay you to make that trade?
He didn't pay me anything.
You,
I
you
literally
have to be honest here. How much was the payment?
I said nothing,
Dude, your best
I was-
receivers are now Aroma Dunze and Alan Lazard.
Yeah, but do you know
That's
who?
some
Do you know
shady
what?
dealings
Do you know
there.
what? The past 4 weeks, they've been my best receivers. They've outscored
Over Tyreek.
They've outscored Tyreek Hill. I'm pretty sure the last, maybe not 4 weeks, but at least the last 2 or 3. I could
Oh,
probably
my
look that
word.
up quick, but I was tired of freaking number 1 pick Tyreek Hill dropping. I think he had like less than 6 points every week for me,
my goodness.
like the past 2 or 3 weeks. And so I was
you
like,
thought
I'm done
you were
with
gonna
that.
get Kittle on...
And Kincaid was doing worse. So I was like, all right, my receivers aren't doing awful. Tyreek's doing really terrible. So if I can get a tight end out of it, I also made sure that Peter couldn't use him this week. He's on a bye. So that would have been really dumb
That's
of me
good,
to
I guess.
give it to him and lose because I gave him Tyreek Hill in the same week. But I made
Yeah.
sure that he was on a bye. So I
Yeah.
didn't get that.
Well, that's insane. For
In the
those of you who
butt.
don't know, it was a straight up trade. Tyreek Hill for George Kittle. Fezzy Boy getting George Kittle and giving up Tyreek Hill. Also, for those of you who don't know, according to the standings, Fez is in dead last place at 1-4.
Yep.
Peter is
Mhm.
in first place at 5-0 now.
Mhm.
So just
Yep.
a straight up, just your normal unethical trade here in the old fantasy. As soon as Peter started seeking trades,
Not
I was like,
unethical, just
he's
stupid.
gonna find someone that's just gonna give him whatever he wants.
Yeah,
And here we
Fez.
go.
And you know what? I'm starting to realize that I realize that I'm if I don't make the playoffs this year, which is very likely, I think I'm quitting fantasy. I'm being like totally honest because like I'm kind of just done with it. I'm like I realize that I'm like not even Jamie anymore because Jamie's actually like decent, and I'm just every week everyone looks forward to playing Fez because it's an easy dub. So
Yeah, honestly, like this is I've loved fantasy for years, but this is the year that I'm most like, dude, there's like more than ever. There's very little skill, and so much has to do with luck. Whether, like we talked about this before, but like injuries have to go your way, the exact right formula for all your players getting enough points, and who you play has to fall your way. And like it's a lot more luck than people think. But anyway, and go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, my team is also 1-4. I played Peter last week. He had about 4 players on buys, which is why he was seeking the trade. And homie still beat me, even though I put up a decent, I think I had over 100 points. But yeah, just didn't play the right players. I played Deontay Johnson, who had like back-to-back 15-point weeks. And of course, I start him and he has 5. So just stuff like that, just piles up. But it's all good.
Yeah.
I think I still have a chance, maybe, because I still have good players. I need Malik Neighbors to stop getting concussions and come back and score 20 for me every week again.
Dude,
so that'd be
for
great.
Real.
But anyway, Fezzy Boy and I are rounding up the rear here. But it's okay. Maybe we'll make a run here late in the season. But
all right,
anyways.
I lied about Tyreek Hill. He had more than 6 points the last week. He did have 12 points last week, which is all right, but Kincaid still whatever. But I had high hopes because against Jacksonville, he had 26 points in the first week. I was like, dude, this is freaking great. That's why I beat you, honestly. Tyreek went off. And then after that, Buffalo, 6 points. Seattle, 7 points. Tennessee, 8 points. And Tua's not coming back anytime
Tyreek's
soon.
One of those players, man, like he's in a little bit of a slump right now, but like halfway through the season, he's going to start rattling off like 25 points a game again.
Yeah, and I probably just gave Peter the league, but I don't even care. No, but I was just gonna quickly run you through literally my lineup this week
because he contributed to the Blackstone, didn't he?
Actually, he didn't. So
just fun.
No, but like, so I have a bunch of guys on buys too, so I had to do a bunch of moving around, and I did a research. Obviously, I got Jordan Love starting still. Like he's by far getting me the most points. Jacksonville's running back Etienne, dude. I don't know. He's had some stinkers this last.
He's so up and down, dude.
But A-Chain is out, so
I should see that. Yeah.
So he's questionable and he's on a bye, so I had to pick up a running back. So I got Spears from Tennessee because they're playing Indy, and Indy cannot stop anybody. I mean, we just saw Bigsby have like a giant game. Yeah, Big. So I was just like, okay, I'm gonna take Spears because he's played against Indy, so hopefully he has some numbers. Alan Lazard, obviously, he's kind of been the go-to for Aaron Rodgers. And then my other pickup from Atlanta is McLeod the third, Ray McLeod the third, and they're playing Carolina. So literally, what I was doing is I was just trying to find like good quarterbacks with decent weapons against bad defenses, and so that's why I picked up Spears and McLeod. So we'll see how that works.
You just got to pick up any player or defense that's playing the Panthers, and you'll guarantee to have a decent day against them. So.
I picked up the Eagles defense this week because like I'm like grasping for points at this point. Like anywhere where there might be a favorable matchup, I'm just like, you know what, I got to take it. And then my kicker was out to just add insult to injury, so I had to pick up another one. So we got Boswell,
your boy.
My boy.
Oh
maybe
my
he'll
goodness.
have another
Go ahead.
Maybe he'll have another game like that playoff game where he literally won the game with like six field goals. Do you remember that?
When was that? It was a couple years ago, right?
Big Ben was still playing, so it was like
3 or
4 years ago.
Yeah, I think that was Ben's last year because they had a playoff dub, I think.
Yeah, and he scored every point. It was crazy.
Yeah,
I was like, dude,
do you remember that?
But we'll see. Yeah. I'll probably still lose by 60, but it's fine.
Dude, Pete's team is projected 134 points, which is insane.
Yeah, I'm projected 105.
Yeah, which is crazy. And you don't even have you have everybody playing in there. So
Yeah.
But
great.
anyways, we'll be
The
there.
woes.
We'll be there at
We
the
love
end,
it.
maybe.
Maybe you might. I won't.
Yeah. Anyways,
Maybe I'll play next year just to have the number 1 pick again. And I'll pick someone else that sucks.
it's all
Anyways, let's
good.
get this pod on
It's
the
just
road.
fantasy. Yeah. This is a pretty big intro, but that's a little bit of a recap into what's been going on in our lives recently, what's been going on in our fantasy. Got some big time storylines, so let's get into it. Big time news right off the bat coming down today from the New York Jets. Robert Salah is now fired after 5 games this season. After a pretty abysmal 2-3 start. See you later. 2-3 isn't terrible, but I think this is just kind of the whole body of work kind of thing. Going back to 2 years ago when he got hired. Obviously, last year wasn't really his fault with Aaron Rodgers going down in the first drive of last year. But defensive coordinator Jeff Ulbrich comes in. He's named the interim head coach. They lost to the Vikings this past week. Pretty ugly loss. They had a chance to come back late. We'll get into the Vikings a little bit later, but they just started really bad. Got down big pretty early. Mounting a pretty good comeback there towards the end, but Aaron Rodgers throws an untimely interception, and that last drive kind of sputters out there at the end. But what say you, Mr. Fez, about this Jets firing? You think this is going to fix the Jets? Do you think they play better? What say you?
What say me? I don't know. It really doesn't fix anything because their defense was kind of like what they hung their hats on. Because Robert Salah was a defensive coordinator before he took the position as the head coach.
Right.
He had them doing like really well last year, pretty well this year, keeping them in games this year. And I don't know. I don't really think it fixed the problem because if you think about it, the problem is the fact that Nathaniel Hackett has a job because of Aaron Rodgers, and they won't get rid of him. I heard from like reports that I have. I heard from people who have
Rodgers
sources.
directly.
Yeah, we're the Pat McAfee show here. We get him on every week. But no, I was hearing that they were actually going to relieve Hackett of like play calling duties, and
I did see that.
And they didn't like that. Well, what people are trying to connect the dots are saying that Aaron Rodgers didn't like that, so he's the one that kind of forced the owner's hand and gone Salah out. So I really don't think it fixes anything because you still have the same problems. Like, what was Robert Salah doing wrong? Like, not a whole lot. He was just kind of a face, and Aaron Rodgers was running the offense. So at the end of the day, like if they are still losing, there's nobody else to point the finger to other than Rodgers and Nathaniel Hackett. So
I basically agree with most of what you said. I don't think it changes too much either. The core people that are still running both sides of the ball are still there. Nathaniel Hackett's, like you were saying, just kind of a figurehead. I think Rodgers is running most of that offense and calling most of the plays, which probably is as it should be. Just because Hackett's proven that he's not a great coach. But I don't think Salah was doing too much really. I think he's kind of like a Nick Sirianni, lets his coordinators do a lot of the work, which is okay sometimes. But I just don't think that he was a great coach. At least not a great head coach. Obviously, he did really good work in San Francisco as a defensive coordinator. But yeah, I don't think it moves the needle that much. I think maybe this next couple games they'll play hard and get some wins, just because that's kind of how it always happens. You fire a coach and they just get a little bit of a spurt for whatever reason. That's kind of applicable across all sports, really. Once you fire the coach and get a new one in there, they play good for like 2 or 3 games, and then maybe it goes back, maybe it gets better, whatever. But grand scheme of things, I don't think it changes too much. I'll be curious to see kind of who gets in there long term, if they're going to go with Jeff Ulbrich, the defensive coordinator, for the rest of the year, if they're going to try to get somebody else in there. Just interested to see kind of who kind of comes about as far as rumors are concerned. I was hearing some things about maybe a Mike Vrabel, which I think would be absolutely massive for the Jets. That'd be a really good hire. I was seeing people talk about Bill Belichick, but that's never going to happen in a million years.
No way. He hates the Jets.
So one team he would never go to is the Jets, bro. But
dude, for real. He'll have plenty of jobs. He'll have your team's job next year.
Yeah, maybe. I could see that if we sputter out, dude. Yeah. But I also see Jerry being like, Mike McCarthy's the guy. We need to trust blah, blah, blah. Anyways, we'll talk about the Cowboys later.
So senile, he doesn't know how to run the team anymore. Yeah. That's just my theory. Also, hey, do you like conspiracy theories?
Yeah, I like a good conspiracy theory.
All right. I got a conspiracy theory for you. Rodgers threw the game in London, one, to push for Devontae Adams, and two, to get Robert Salah out. Tell me I'm wrong.
I don't think that's even a conspiracy theory. I think you could pretty easily prove that was true. But
Because
I don't know if he necessarily
what?
threw the game, but I don't think he minded that they lost that.
Right. But what's one thing he's been known for? Accuracy, right? And he had some horrible picks. And also, he had a leg injury. That doesn't affect your accuracy. And he's proven that, and even older quarterbacks, that's something you don't lose. Like, you might lose some power, but you're always accurate. So, I mean, I'm just saying the Devontae thing was kind of sputtering out. Robert Salah probably didn't want it. So he's just like, and there were talks in the building that the owner, is it Woody Johnson? Is that his name? Yeah, Woody Johnson kind of told the staff that this is like a make or break situation in London. So maybe maybe Rodgers got a hold of that and was like, well, I have a way of getting Robert out and getting Devontae in. So a little conspiracy theory for you there.
Yeah, no, like I definitely think that's a possibility. I still don't think he would necessarily intentionally throw games, but I think the way things were going, that he, like I said, was very much okay with, maybe like where they are, because it forced them to fire Robert Salah, and possibly get Devontae Adams, which we haven't even touched on yet. But the Jets have a possibility to really flip their season around, because if they get Devontae Adams, obviously that makes them just so much better than they already are. They should be a lot better than their 2-3 record. But Devontae Adams coming with all the chemistry he has with Rodgers obviously makes them a lot more of a contender. They also have Hassan Reddick, who's been holding out for a big contract. So if they get him signed, they have a huge defensive weapon coming off the edge to pair with Quinnen Williams. So they could really, they could add some pieces here without doing too much. I mean, Hassan Reddick's already in the building, so if you just get him signed, like you're all in for this year. Like, you might as well just sign him as much as he wants. Yeah, whatever. Because if they don't win this year, dude, they're tearing it down next year. So I guess they just got to go all in, get Devontae, get whoever else you need to get, and just kind of go for it. But I do think that they'll play better in the next couple of weeks, because I do think that even though Salah wasn't necessarily responsible for a lot of the bad play, especially on the offensive side, I think they were just rubbed the wrong way with him in the building. Like, he was just defending players when he really shouldn't, and just like bringing up stuff about like Rodgers when he took that trip, I think over the summer, to like Egypt or something. He just had some really weird comments about that. So just obviously that might just be like a diva thing with like Rodgers himself, but like just stuff like that, like it just creates a weird locker room presence. So I think they'll play better over the next couple weeks for sure.
It was a bit of a weird timing to get rid of a coach as well, because I mean, like you're saying, they could turn it around. They play Buffalo this coming Monday night.
That's for the division lead.
Yeah, for the division. Like, I mean, in a world where Robert Salah is still there and he comes in, gets the team to play well against the Bills, and also we don't know how Josh Allen's going to be. Like, did you see the clips of him? Like, dude was out cold on the turf, dude.
I was shocked he came back after that.
Yeah,
I was like, no way he plays the rest of the game. But
yeah, I forgot to put that in the doc. But dude had a concussion on the field
100%.
and went back in and played. So who knows how Josh Allen's going to be? Like, they might be a vulnerable. And I mean, the Bills haven't looked good the last maybe this last week. They
lost to the Texans this week, so that's 2 in a row that they've lost. I mean, it's crazy. A couple weeks ago, we were ready to hand Josh Allen the MVP, and now look where we are. So,
right, exactly. But yeah, Jets all to play for.
Yeah, I mean, they play the Bills probably without Josh Allen, if I had to guess. I mean, he might play, but I mean, man. Then they have the Steelers and the Patriots right after that, so 2 very winnable games for them. So they could be 5-3, just like that. So if they can rattle off a couple here, but that's a little bit of Jets talk. That was kind of the biggest news that came down this week, even though we're only on Wednesday. Came down today. A little bit of a recap of the last week in the NFL. Kirk Cousins and the Atlanta Falcons get a big time dub in overtime. Kirk Cousins over 500 yards and 4 touchdowns. Oh, Kirk Cousins rolling back the years a little bit against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Did you watch this game on Thursday?
I watched the end because I saw that it was close, and Atlanta had a couple chances to tie the game and eventually did. I think, yeah, they had the ball, lost it. Bucks gave it back to them. And so it was a good game to watch. And then obviously they went into overtime and old Kirko found a way. But 500 plus yards, that's insane, dude.
Yeah,
Insane. And I dropped him in fantasy the week before, almost started him.
of course.
Yeah. I'm just done with it. But anyways.
Yeah, so solid dub for Atlanta. I believe he is the first quarterback in Falcons history to throw for over 500 yards in a game. So big congrats to the Falcons. I believe they are first place in the NFC South with a 3-2 record. Just getting over the Buccaneers there. So I think they're actually probably the favorites at this point to win that division. Even though the Saints look strong early, they've lost 3 in a row and don't look like the team that was blowing out my Cowboys in week 2. So, but we'll see how they kind of settle into the season here as we get going. But it's good to see old Kirko kind of finding his groove a little bit. Heading over to the Vikings. Vikings are now 5-0 after winning against the Jets that we just touched on earlier. Sam Darnold looking pretty good. Vikings jumped out to a pretty big lead in the first half, did all they could to give it away at the end. But that's 2 weeks in a row now. They've kind of tried to let the other team back into the game, seemingly, and still find a way at the end. If you ask me, their record's a little bit better than their talent. I think Sam Darnold's obviously playing really well, best of his career, but I think they'll make the playoffs probably at this point, but unless they absolutely collapse. But I don't really see it being like just super sustainable. I still think that they'll probably be pushing the Packers all the way to the end for the division. But just with that, kind of letting the teams back into games, I don't think that's sustainable long term. But what do you think about the Vikings here? Obviously, a little bit of a surprise here early for them in the NFC.
Yeah, I mean, we've kind of been talking about them since the season started because they got off to that hot start. Sam Darnold surprised a lot of people because he was kind of brought into kind of a Brissett to Drake May type of situation. The vet to play in front of the rookie QB to give him time to catch up to speed, and then they would swap him out probably either halfway during the season or late in the season, depending on where they are in the playoff race. But some people got the Vikings going all the way with Sammy Darnold.
No way, man. No way. They don't have enough like depth wise. Obviously they have Justin Jefferson and a couple other good pieces, but I don't think they have enough. I mean, that would be absolutely insane.
Yeah, Aaron Jones just went down too, which is another fantasy thing.
Yeah,
we won't get into that.
Fantasy now,
dude. I'm telling you, I'm like so unlucky. Like
you're wired into the fantasy, bro.
Well, no, because I was telling you, Mike wanted him. Mike's the guy from our church league, and he wanted him. He was gonna give me Ayuk and Tampa Bay's. I think it's like first or second string running back. And I said no because I don't really need it. And and then if I made the trade, Mike would have been stuck with Aaron Jones, who's week to week, and I would have had 2 healthy players. I was like, what the frick? Like, frick me, man. But anyways, no, I think it's super surprising. Love seeing Darnold ball out. Dude can sling it. Dude's good when he's in a good situation. But Vikings to the Super Bowl ?
Yeah, we'll see. Not if you ask me, but win's a win, baby. 5-0. Only other 5-0 team are the Chiefs. So big props to them. We'll move into the most exciting game of the week. We got Ravens and Bengals. Ravens squeaking this one out, 41-38 in overtime with a Justin Tucker late field goal. Bengals, speaking of giving it away or trying to give it away, Bengals were in a pretty good position. They're late in the fourth quarter. Joey B throws an untimely interception, which is pretty unfortunate because he had an absolutely insane game. I believe he had 4 or 5 touchdowns, a whole bunch of yards. So really solid game from him, but really untimely interception to let them back into the game. Ravens ultimately pull it out in overtime, like I said. I know we were watching this at your birthday party. What you say about old Joey B?
A bit of an unfortunate game. I mean, take it to overtime, and I mean, if the holder doesn't fumble that snap, I mean, McPherson puts it through the uprights, and Ravens are looking at, what are the Ravens at? They're
3-2 now.
3-2. Okay, so they've turned it around a bit, but if they lost that, would have still been a little bit scary for the Ravens. Yeah. But I mean, I think the Bengals have just been unfortunate. I mean, they they lost to New England opening day, which, you know, that's kind of like opening day, figure things out. Didn't have Jamar Chase.
Yeah, New
Then they
England hasn't won
played,
since, so
yeah, and then they played the Chiefs, which like anybody's gonna struggle against the Chiefs, and then they had a couple. Then they play the Ravens in Week 5 and lose because of a bad snap. I mean, it's just kind of like it's been unfortunate, but in the NFL, no one's here to listen to your pity parties. They just want to see you win. So, bit
yeah.
unfortunate. Good game to watch though.
Yeah, super good game. Bengals are now sitting at 1-4. Joey B after the game, he's just kind of answering questions of the press, and he was just basically just doubling down on what everyone else is saying that they're not playing good football. Kind of took ownership and everything. So they always start really slow, but this year just seems a little bit different too with the Jamar Chase situation, and T Higgins finally had a good game. But yeah, we'll see how they're kind of able to rebound over the next couple games, but they're definitely falling back in the division a little bit. But they do have the Giants coming up this Sunday, so if there's any game that you win, you can definitely win that one. And they got the Browns after that, and so there's two definitely winnable games there. They should be sitting at 3-4 here in a couple weeks, but we'll see how Joey B is able to rally the troops. Then switching over to Sunday night, we had my team versus Fezzi's team. Big old Cowboys versus Steelers. I wasn't looking too brightly at this game, honestly, going into it. I thought the Cowboys were kind of in a slump, kind of still are, but able to pull it out, man, at the end. I know you said that you didn't watch it too much, unfortunately, but I definitely thought we were gonna lose. But Dak Prescott coming in the clutch, throwing a really well timed ball to Jalen Tolbert there at the end. 20 seconds left on 4th and goal, so getting a huge dub for the boys. But what say you about Justin Fields? Justin Fields playing pretty decently, but ultimately not enough to beat my Cowboys. But how are you guys looking going into the next couple weeks here?
I think we're playing over what we expected coming into the season. Obviously, we're getting more out of Justin Fields than we thought we would.
Yeah.
Starting spot still not locked down. Seeing some reports.
I was gonna say, you going to Wilson?
I saw some reports they'll stick with him this coming week. I think we're playing Las Vegas. I think.
Yes.
So if Fields doesn't ball out against them, which he should, anyone should really. I mean, they're tough, but they're not well coached. I mean, they got a kind of, I wouldn't say first time head coach, but interim turn head coach.
They're starting Aiden O'Connell this week instead of Gardner Minshew. So
yeah, exactly. So kind of down bad over there. Devontae Adams still out with an actual injury. He's not holding out for a trade or anything. But we'll see if Fields.
I don't believe in that
hamstring
one. No,
you don't believe that?
Absolutely not. Ever since there's been trade rumors, he's been injured.
Benefit of the doubt.
Okay. But anyway,
all right.
Continue.
Anyways, Devontae Adams or not, Fields got to play well. Otherwise, Wilson's coming in. That's just how I see it. Little takeaway from this game: what's with us just making diva wide receivers like they come to Pittsburgh and they're just like, dude, I'm it. Like, no, you're really not.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know. I've never really liked Pickens. Pickens came in. Yeah, I did see.
Go ahead.
Are you talking about his eyeshadow? Or
no, eyeshadow
what
for Pickens? I was gonna say if you saw the helmet pull at the end where
I did see that.
Corner's kind of getting in his face and he just yanks his helmet down.
Dude, dude's a child, an absolute child. But no, I'm talking about his eye black, dude. He put he said always effing open or something like that.
Oh, I did not see that.
And now the NFL's
definitely not always open.
No, he's definitely not. Definitely not. And such a diva. But anyways, we lost, so not much to say about that.
Yeah, it's kind of surprising you guys are always attracting these diva players with Mike Tomlin. Like he's a great coach. He kind of comes off as he's kind of like a no nonsense coach kind of type of personality, but obviously not enough because they definitely got some personalities over the years that have really gone down with the ship. So yeah, we'll see how the Steelers fare in the next couple games. They got the Raiders and Jets coming up. So I kind of agree with you. I think even though most of the fan base I think wants to stick with Fields because he's a lot younger, I think if he doesn't play well against a Raiders team that's kind of struggling, that they might look to Wilson after that. So we'll see. Good win for my Cowboys. We're now sitting at 3-2 with a chance in the division there, even though out of nowhere it looks like the Commanders are going to win that division somehow. So, but yeah, solid win for us. Dak Prescott playing well. People kind of blowing the CeeDee Lamb sideline spat out of proportion. I'm not sure if you saw that or not. People were trying to read into the whole lip reading thing. Everybody was saying that CeeDee Lamb was like subpar Dak, subpar. And then if you look at it from a different perspective, it also looks like that he's saying jump balls, Dak, or it's like something like that. So like it's two like opposite ends of the spectrum of what he could be saying. Personally, I don't really see CeeDee Lamb using a word like subpar. Like who even says that? So
maybe your grandmother.
Yeah, but I don't know. Either way, we got it done. We got the Lions on Sunday, so that'll be a big time challenge for us. Hopefully we can stop the run. We did really well against the run against the Steelers, so I'm hoping for a good performance against them, and we'll get our first really good win of the year. So that's kind of the NFL portion of it. A little bit of a recap of what's going on. Chiefs also got a dub, but whatever. We don't even talk about them because they're the Chiefs. So, but yeah, that's kind of a recap of what's been going on. We got another big time week coming up next week. That we'll kind of dive into at a later date, but we'll kind of switch over to the college ranks for just a second. No really huge games. It's kind of a tough week for college, really, if you ask me. Not huge games, not anything crazy as far as ranked teams are going on, like ranked versus ranked. But we did have a huge upset in Vanderbilt winning over Alabama for the first time. Number one Alabama, no longer number one because they got they got beat by the Vanderbilt Commodores for the first time in I think 26 years. I think I remember seeing or something like that. So I mean, the Vanderbilt's literally just the laughing stock of the SEC. I can't believe they're really still in there. Just everyone gets a dub against them. It seems like in the SEC, but they come out with a 40-35 win over number one Alabama. So I know you said you didn't watch this game, but what do you have to say about the old Commodores coming in clutch with their quarterback Ravi? I think his name is. He was a fun player to watch. So.
Yeah, I mean, all of America was a Vanderbilt fan, if we're being honest. Like,
there were more Alabama fans in the stands.
If you're not a Bama fan, like if you don't root for Bama, you were rooting for Vandy. I don't care what school you root for.
Well, that's every team that plays Alabama. You root for against Alabama,
exactly.
So.
But you were rooting for them even more after. Did you see they tore down the goalpost at the end? I think Nathan Ploss was telling me here on Sunday that it made it like 7 miles away from the stadium.
That was
or something
the closest
that.
river for them to chuck it into. Until like Pico.
Crazy.
Away.
But I loved it. I love anytime Alabama, especially when they're number one, dude. Like a number one losing to a non-ranked team. And I think this was Vandy's first like in program history beating a top 10 ranked team.
Top 5.
There was a lot of upsets this week. I think Arkansas ended up beating like Tennessee or something like something.
Yep.
It was like a big mashup, a lot of mashup going on. But no, I loved seeing it. Did you see Saban on the McAfee show?
I did, man.
His little comments about Vandy.
Yeah, it's like everywhere in the SEC is hard except for Vanderbilt. I was like, you're just asking to get beat.
That just made it so much sweeter just to see him say that. I thought it was hilarious. I loved it, every minute of it. That I didn't watch, but every minute of the reaction after it was great.
Yeah, for sure. It was fun game to watch. I'm kind of a Bama hater, just like most of the countries. If you're not a Bama fan, so as soon as I saw that, I was kind of tracking it on my phone because I was getting notifications about it. I was like, Vanderbilt's in. I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. Bama's going to come back as they usually do and just get a dub at the end. But I turned it on like halfway through the fourth. So I was like, man, Vanderbilt's still ahead. They were ahead by 2 scores at that point. So I was like, I'll hate watch a little bit. I don't mind. So
that's right.
Popped it on and watched them win. So that was a pretty good dub for them. Alabama obviously coming off the huge high of winning against Georgia last week. So kind of came out a little flat against one of the worst teams in the SEC. So we'll see how they're able to rebound. They fall all the way to 7 in the newest AP poll. Like you said, Tennessee also got upset, but Alabama was by far the biggest news for sure. So Texas reclaims that number one spot with a big time game against Oklahoma coming up this week. So we'll see how they're able to hold on to that number one spot. But that's a little bit of a look into football. We got a big time college football week coming up, as well as some NFL. We'll get into that a little bit next week, but that's kind of what's been going on in the old beloved football.
All right, the soccer segment of this podcast, we're going to rattle off some Champions League results as well as take a look at our teams in the Prem. Good week of Champions League matches. Little different still. There's a couple upsets that really don't hurt teams right now because of the new league table format of the Champions League, which I'm not a huge fan of. But we got to put up with it, and we still love the Champions League. Starting at the top, Aston Villa beat Bayern 1-0. Bit of a mishap from Bayern's goalkeeper, but good finish at the end. I'm blanking on the player's name that came in, but he's been on fire. He comes off the bench for Aston Villa, and every time he scores, they win. Did you watch this game, Sammy?
Is that Duran?
Duran, that's his name. I almost said Durham, but that's a convenience store in 6 Mile, South Carolina. So that's not
Do
him.
You know that
because I eat there frequently. I work up there. Anyways,
what'd you say it was, a convenience store in 6 Mile?
Yeah, it's a gas station, convenience store. They got fish and stuff in there. I definitely know that. It's great. A whole tackle section in the back. It's awesome.
Do you spend a significant amount of your paycheck there?
I want to say a significant amount. I would say an amount.
I know you don't have
a healthy amount.
You can't say on the pod because Taylor's listening, but it's okay.
I do not spend money on fishing stuff there, Taylor. Actually, I never have. Actually, now that I think about it, I want to, but I don't. All right, Aston Villa, Bayern. Did you watch it?
I watched bits and pieces of it. Obviously, saw the goal. Bayern definitely didn't look like the normal Bayern we're used to seeing. Bayern's kind of struggling the last couple of years in the Champions League. We're used to seeing them just beat everybody by 7-0 until they get to like the quarterfinals. But yeah, definitely coming back down to earth a little bit for Bayern. But yeah, solid win for Villa in their first season back in the Champions League in a number of decades. So good for them.
Yeah, Unai Emery's got them buzzing right now in league,
sure.
and not quite league, but Champions League for sure. All right. I'm gonna butcher. It's Lille.
Good work.
Lille. All right. Lille upsets Real Madrid 1-0. Jonathan David.
Canadian boy.
Yeah. Scoring the winning goal against a big time club. Mr. Real Madrid fan, did you watch this game? What are your thoughts on this game? And do you think the old Real Madrid will put it together at some point?
Yeah. I mean, they always do in the Champions League, even if they do suffer a couple defeats or ties. Obviously, they always come back. They're missing Mbappe in this game, so obviously a little bit of a blow to them, but they should still be putting it away with all the players that they have on the field against the Lille team. Lille kind of the scrappy team that defends really well and tries to hit you on the counter. It's basically exactly what happened with Jonathan David. So good for them getting a good dub, but we actually have lost Danny Carvajal now to an ACL injury. I don't know if you saw that. It was a pretty bad looking injury there, so we probably won't have him for the rest of the year. It's a big time loss on that right side. We'll see how Carlo is able to improvise. Seems like he's always able to put one of our big time players still in one of those spots, like he had Camavinga playing at left back last year and things like that. Who knows? Maybe we'll see like a Endrick on the right side or something now. So we'll see what they're able to do with that. But yeah, ultimately I do think that we'll get it together in the Champions League. But yeah, big time win, I guess, for Lille. But Mbappe coming back. I think Mbappe did actually come on in the second half, but he's been dealing with a little bit of an injury. So we'll see how they're able to rebound after that.
Yeah, it's interesting to see like Carvalho going down, Rodgers going down. These are like guys that are just workhorses, most of the time healthy. And again, me and my conspiracy theories, but just like we're starting to see like the healthier guys start going down, because they're able to play all these extra games that like FIFA and UEFA and all these different organizations are like making them play. And because like normally you have some players that are kind of like, injury ridden, and so they're already injured, they're sitting out, they're getting their rest, they're not really playing all these games, but we're finally seeing like the toll of all these games really take effect, and unfortunately, it's taken out some of the best in Rodri and Carvajal. Do you think that's accurate? Do you think that's like something that's actually happening, or just kind of like a swing of bad luck for these two players?
I mean, ultimately, it's probably a mixture of things. You're definitely seeing a lot more big time players go down with injuries. So I think it has something to do with it. But I think we talked about it a couple weeks ago where there's actually a collection of players that are starting to make some noise about it. So hopefully, there'll be some strides into, preserving some of these games and these players from big time injury. But yeah, I think it has something to do with it. Obviously, when you're playing sometimes 60 games in a season. That's just in one calendar
Right.
year. It's gonna
Yeah.
it's gonna just mount up together, and just in one game, the amount of running these guys are doing. They're running multiple miles every game, and just the amount of physical exertion is obviously a ton. So when they're playing, 2 games a week, sometimes three, like it's not sustainable unless you have a squad of like 35 players that are able to come in, but obviously that's not realistic either. So
Right. Exactly. Moving on. 10-man Juve find a way against RB Leipzig. McKennie having a big impact for Juventus. Huge tackle in the build up to their winning goal at
yeah,
the end.
I didn't see this game, so solid win for Juve though.
Mhm.
Sounds like.
Yeah, solid win for them. I think they needed it. I haven't watched Juve too much, but I think in the Champions League, I think they dropped their first game against I don't even know who. But I could be totally wrong about that. But good win. I didn't see the red card or the sending off, so not too much to say there.
What did
But
McKennie
just an impressive
get red
win.
carded?
No, he they were down to 10 men, and uh is it Simone for Leipzig? Xavi Simone? Is that his name? The young
Uh
star?
oh, Simone's, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. He was on a breakaway, and McKennie tracked him down,
Right.
uh, tackled the ball away from him, and then Juve countered attack off of that, scored the winning goal. So he was getting high praise from Juve's coach for that. So he's found a way back into the squad against all
Solid.
odds. It was looking like he was going to leave during the summer and bet on himself, signed a new contract, and back in the squad, back in good graces with the head coach.
There you go.
All right, I'm sure you either watched this game or kept up with it, but Arsenal PSG, I did not watch this game. So Sammy boy, take it away.
Yeah, man. Definitely. Big time dub for the Gooners, 2-0 against the PSG team that started the season really really strong. I have a buddy at work who's an Arsenal fan, same as me, and we both did predictions. I actually predicted that it was going to be a tie 1-1. But then when we went up early with Kai Havertz, we're like, oh boy, we're winning this game. So Saka tacked on a second shortly after that. We kind of really just held it down at the back kind of after that. We didn't pack the box or anything like that, but just a really solid defensive display from us. Declan Rice, man, he's just everywhere. I mean, every single game you could probably give him the man of the match, and have absolutely no issues from anybody about this. He's just everywhere. He's on defense. He's tracking back. I mean, it would be a counter attack, and just all of a sudden you see Declan Rice just out of nowhere. Like he's got speed. He's got that the recovery. Um, obviously getting back, and then he also has just really good creative skills. And he's got a shot as well from like outside the box. So he's just a joy to watch. I'm so glad we have him on our team now. But obviously started Trossard instead of some of our other attacking players like Gabriel Jesus. He played really well. But yeah, like I said, kind of surprised that we were able to get this dub. But seeing how the new look PSG came out, I guess they weren't. Speaking of the new age PSG, there's like half their team now. It's just like guys that you wouldn't say are like world class players. So it's kind of
I
kind of
know it's
interesting
so
to see how
yeah.
they're kind of morphing into a different team. Like they have like this Korean striker that was heading up the offensive line. They have like Douay or something like that on the right wing. Barcola we're used to, but and then like Zaire Emery, like they have a couple world class players. Obviously Marquinhos is still there. Vitinha, I wish I could get Vitinha on Arsenal. He would be amazing. Hakimi's still there, but it's just not the big time stars you're used to seeing at PSG. So it's just a different kind of look for them, but still glad we got the dub. So
Yeah, for sure. Keeping it with Arsenal, we're going to take a look in the Prem. You guys had a game against Southampton.
Yeah.
Little 3-1 dub, huh, bud?
Yeah, a little 3-1 dub. The homecoming of Aaron Ramsdale, even though he's only on loan. I was kind of like to see him playing just because he plays with so much passion. He's always yelling at his guys, and like after every save, he's just like hyping the crowd up. He's a fun guy to watch. But yeah, definitely an expected dub for the boys this time around. I think Southampton will be in the bottom 5 to 6 in the league for most of the year this year. Calafiori's got the start at the left back position. It's cool to see him come in and play with that back line. So I'm glad to see him being able to put up some good performances. I'm hoping that he's able to play full time at left back. He's obviously a left back / center back kind of player, but if we get him slotted into that left back position instead of having to play Zinchenko or whoever over there, that would be great going forward. But yeah, solid dub, second in the league, so not too shabby so far.
Second in the league, right behind Liverpool's top of the league right now, right?
Yep, at 18 points.
They're yeah, Liverpool didn't miss a beat after Klopp left. Kind of annoying, but hey, if you're gonna root for someone, might as well root for them.
Easy right now.
Doing good stuff. We're gonna take a quick look at Chelsea. 1-1 draw against 10-man Nottingham Forest. I don't know how that happens. Had a good run of form going on here, playing really well. Then we just end up tying 9-4, so I'm not even surprised at this point. Just
your fourth place, though. It's not too bad.
That is the bright spot. We're in fourth, currently holding a Champions League spot. I would love to see them back in the Champions League. Just see this young squad do something there. Get Palmer on the Champions League stage, dude. I didn't realize Palmer was gonna be this good. Like
no one did.
Like. Yeah, no one saw it coming.
Everyone thought you massively overpaid when you got him.
Yeah, that was the one signing I would be like, all right, Boley, good job. But then we got like Mudryk and guys like that who can't even get into the squad.
Right.
Like,
dude, what is going on with him? Can you dive into that a little bit? Like, I remember I was so upset when you guys outbidded us for him, and now like I barely even hear his name being like talked about. Does he start?
Yeah, I mean, no, he doesn't. I don't even think he's been in matchday squads, dude.
Wow.
I don't even think he's on the bench right now. We got Chilwell training with the under 21s. He can't even get in the squad. Obviously, we shipped Sterling off to you guys. Like,
you have Jadon Sancho now in his position.
Yeah, Sancho's playing in his position, stuff like that. Yeah, it's just tough. I think lack of continuity between coaches, ownership just buying players, putting high price tags on players, just putting expectations on players that they're not ready for. I think it's just, there's a lot that went into it. But yeah, unfortunately, we kind of saved you guys from that. But I don't know. I think Arteta would have been able to get something more out of him. Because, I mean, we've seen how Havertz has worked out for you, and we were kind of kicking him out the door at one point as well.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think he would have done a little bit better, but it just doesn't look like his ceiling was quite as high as everyone thought when he left Shakhtar. So,
yep, exactly. All right, a little bit of a sad news in the soccer world. Player that I grew up watching, loved watching, kind of emulated a little bit of my game around. A lot of players did, but Iniesta. Finally, I think it was either last pod or a few pods ago. We were actually talking about like how long he had been playing. He was balling out in China or something like that.
Japan.
But Iniesta finally calling it quits from football. Legend of the game, one of the all-time great midfielders, definitely part of that just unstoppable Barca team that was just completely and utterly stacked. Like, I mean, we talk about Real Madrid now, Barca back in the day. I mean, Real Madrid back in the day too, but just really one of the all-time greats. Won't be forgotten, and we'll be interested to see what he does afterwards. I'm sure he'll coach, right?
Yeah, I'll probably be Barca's next coach. How you guys have been going? So,
dude, facts. Just going through ex-Barca players. We're really just waiting for Messi to quit, and so he can come coach. Dude, I don't think Messi's gonna coach. He doesn't have the personality to coach.
I see Messi coaching. He has. Anyways, yeah.
You think Ronaldo will coach? Ronaldo will coach. He has plenty of personality to go around.
Maybe. I don't know.
I don't think he's much of a tactician. Ronaldo's more of like a man manager, like get people like,
Yeah. I just I just can't see Ronaldo ever retiring. He's just gonna want to play until he's like 60.
Dude,
I ain't
for
coaching,
real.
but
For real.
yeah, good for
Oh my word.
Iniesta though. I'll always remember that. This is ages ago. It's probably 2009, I want to say, but I always remember his goal against Chelsea in the Champions League. Obviously, that match was like probably the most scandalous, unfair refed game, but I'll always remember his banger in the 95th minute or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah,
sealed the
for sure.
qualification. We'll have to dive
Well,
into that sometime, like about that game specifically, but yeah,
yeah, we
absolutely
should like
insane
a little
goal.
history segment.
Yeah.
Pick some matches from back in the day and talk about it. That'd actually be a cool segment. Let us know in the comments, the 5 people that comment, if we should do that. But no, seriously, yeah, he'll be missed. Like one of my earliest soccer memories, I think it was 2010 World Cup. Was it Spain and Netherlands?
Yep. Yeah, he scored the winning
Iniesta,
goal.
game winner. Yeah,
Yep.
for
Always
sure.
remember that
For
too, watching that live.
Yep, but we say goodbye to Iniesta. Rounding off the last bit of this segment, we have just a little bit of like a weird, like soccer. It's all soccer, but like crossing over into our world. Sam can explain it a little better because it's not quite what it seems. But Ronaldinho, has a small stake in the Greenville Triumph, which is the local team here in Greenville, South Carolina, that plays in technically the 3rd division of American soccer. So a little odd, a little weird, but Sammy has a explanation for why it might have come about.
Yeah, so it doesn't sound like he's just full on like, oh yeah, Greenville Triumph, I want to invest in them, or like being part of an ownership of some kind. It sounds like he made some kind of, because he was on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange today doing some stuff. He rang the bell and everything. It sounds like he made some investments either in some stocks or some kind of investment opportunities or something like that. And part of the whole like either portfolio or whatever he invested in, the Triumph were a part of that as well. So it wasn't like directly like just like, hey, let's go invest in the Triumph. It sounded like it's more of like a, oh, the Triumph are in the package kind of thing. But
Yeah.
we do have a couple pictures of him holding up some Triumph jerseys and stuff. So that's pretty lit. Like Fezzy Boy was saying before the podcast, we probably had to pay him to do that. But I will say I was doing some research, just like not research, but I just looked it up on Google real quick. I just put in Ronaldinho to see if we're getting any kind of hype at all. And there's actually some articles from some pretty big news agencies saying that Ronaldinho is investing in a club, like the Daily Mail. We've got a headline here saying that it makes leap into ownership with investment in unlikely club in America. And they're going into like explaining where the South Carolina-based team was founded in 2018, like just completely foreign for most people that are going to read that article. But and there's like a couple others like MSN. I think there's ESPN, obviously ESPN stateside, but a couple like international news agencies kind of hopping on that. Obviously, it's Ronaldinho, so they're going to make headlines, but it is a little bit bigger of a deal than it's just like one of those things that just gets washed out by any kind of news buzz. So yeah, cool time for little old Greenville. So obviously Ronaldinho is a absolutely massive star at his peak, so it's cool to see.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, regardless of how it shaked out, great PR for the Triumph, for sure. They got those pictures, and they're gonna be plastic. I'm surprised. I will probably see a billboard driving into work tomorrow.
Yeah, probably.
Dude. No, we got to go to a game. Honestly, the season's almost over.
I think so.
Playoffs are starting. We gotta get a game. I remember when I moved here, we were going to games all the time.
Yeah, I haven't been to one in probably over a year.
I miss the old field though. I don't really I kind of. As part of the reason I haven't gone is one, I've heard that the atmosphere isn't as good.
Oh, it's
awful.
But
two, I just want to like remember the small town club atmosphere. Like that's what that field felt like.
Yeah.
Like, tucked behind some neighborhoods sure, you're playing at a high school, like a really nice high school field, but like it felt small, like a small club, you go out to support the Greenville Triumph type deal.
The last game I went to, it was at the new stadium. It was like right when they had moved. So it was probably at the beginning of like the last season. And yeah, it was just awful because like it's at Furman's football stadium. So number one, you have all the football lines, which I just think is just blah. And then two, obviously the stadium is so big that like the people that do come, like the stadium just washes everybody out, and it just feels like it's not as cool as it was at the old stadium for all the reasons that you just said. So definitely, I do remember though. I went to the U.S. Open Cup game and we played Charlotte, and like it was sold out, every seat was packed. That was so hype. Like that was like peak like small town. Like obviously it's America, so it doesn't quite have this feel of like a European game, but like smaller club going against bigger club, little brother, big brother kind of thing. So that was a lot of fun. So
and we were like right with them until the end, right?
Yeah, we went to overtime, bro. We had them on the ropes, but
that's crazy.
Ultimately couldn't pull it out.
Always got to support the hometown team. But yeah, big news: Ronaldinho joining the ownership group at the Greenville Triumph. Be interesting. Have to catch a game here in the next few weeks. All right, we got some college basketball. I think it's starting up here in less than a month or so. I was listening to my college basketball podcast today on college basketball with GP and Gary Parrish and I forget Matt something. Norlander, that's his name. Anyways, a little plug for them. But yeah, we got a basketball segment in the pod. First time in a while. Some big news. We're going to start in the preseason of the NBA. The biggest news, LeBron James sharing a court with Bronny, finally getting his wish and kind of more of his command in a way.
Yeah, for sure.
Willed this to existence for sure. Pulled some strings, got the coach he wanted, his former podcast host, JJ Redick, and to pull all the strings in quotes. But did you say anything about this?
What show in
dude, I was just gonna ask, like, did you see anything about this, and what did you think about it?
I mean, obviously I saw all the notifications and the Instagram posts about Bronny's playing with his son. I think it's funny, like literally the first minute, LeBron is so like media focused. Like he goes up right next to Bronny, like playing defense, quote unquote, and like stands right next to him and like is like just I don't know what he's doing with his gear or whatever. And like you could can so tell that he was just like, just posing there for everybody to take his picture. Him and Bronny standing next to each other. I was like, oh my word, we're gonna have this all year, bro. But yeah, I mean, good for him. Like you were saying, I think it's kind of a clown show over there in LA. He's got his podcast buddy, and I was like, oh, there definitely wasn't any collusion before he got hired. Yeah, okay.
Right. Okay.
Then we got Bronny absolutely wasting a second-round pick for a Lakers team that could really use some younger players over there. So, I mean, good for him. It's all vibes at this point. They're not going to win a championship, so might as well just get whoever to all your buddies to play with you and your son. So, good for him.
Yeah.
But when's the last time you saw LeBron playing a preseason game? Talk about that.
Right. Like, dude, there's no way he's touching the court. The only reason he's there is because of Bronny, dude.
Yeah. And they're in Abu Dhabi, too. Like, there's no way he'd be out there doing whatever.
And now I just saw this notification on Bleacher Report that he's whining about
the Milwaukee?
Have to fly out. Yeah, they got to fly to Milwaukee. Like, so dude, get over yourself.
Bro.
You had to fly all the way to Abu Dhabi, but just because it's nicer there, you're just like, oh, I'm fine with it. But once you have to fly to like the Midwest, you're like, yeah, frick this.
Yeah, I saw all the comments too were just like torching and being like, "You make $50 million a year, like you're a billionaire. Get over it." Like I was like, "Yeah, dude.
Exactly." Yeah, no, I think it's pretty cool. Like it's the first time in NBA history. The way it happened is kind of like cheesy and very like nepotist.
Exactly.
Is that the verbiage?
I think
for
so.
that?
Yeah, that's a good pull.
Nepotist, but the way it happened, I don't really like, but I think it's cool. The longevity. You have to tip your cap
absolutely.
to that.
Yeah,
for sure. The one thing that's rubbing me the wrong way is like all these players on the Lakers are coming out. JJ Redick's coming out and be like, "Oh, I really like what I see in Bronny," hyping him up. And I'm sitting there like, what are you supposed to say? The most powerful guy on the team is LeBron. Like, if you're gonna say something bad about his son, you're gonna get traded the next day. Like legitimately. Like, what are they supposed to say?
Yeah. Well, that's why they got JJ Redick, because JJ Redick's just a yes man that's gonna go along with whatever LeBron says. So that's why they're not gonna be winners. But
That's why they're not going to win, but we'll love watching the clown show in LA, and they will get ratings, unfortunately.
Getting notifications every time Bronny steps on the court. Like
Bronny touches court with LeBron.
Yeah.
No, but dude, totally back to LeBron posing for that picture. Like I watched like they put like the full length like clip of it. He literally came from like the low post where he was playing defense and like
full court
hustled,
pressing.
like hustled up to full court press their point guard for no reason. Except for that Bronny was up there.
Yeah, as soon as the ball got inbound, they're all like backing up.
Yeah, he just like sprinted back to his man, like, dude, what are we doing here?
Yeah, super funny.
My word, absolute scenes.
Beyond like the Bronny checks into the game, we're gonna get Bronny stat lines like we were doing in college, like 2 points, 1 for 3 from the field, and like 1 assist or whatever.
Dude, he'll have like 1.5 steals, and the stat line will be with like the headline, Bronny, disruptive defender. Like,
yeah,
dude,
like first team all rookie question mark.
Yeah, Bronny really should be number 1 in rookie of the year voting for like preseason. Like, yeah, okay, dude, he's not the second coming of LeBron. Not the second coming of LeBron at all, like at all. But whatever,
poor guy.
All right. Finally on the podcast, we highlighted this a few pods ago. Gonzaga was kind of being enticed to join the Pac-12. That is official. They will be leaving the WCC in 2027 is when the Pac-12 will reform. They're trying to get a few more schools to make it so they can actually compete in like the national championships for football, basketball, etc.
They don't have a football team, do they?
They don't. So that's one of the reasons people are saying they weren't going to go, because obviously the Pac-12 has been known for football and with media rights and all that. But Gonzaga has such a big presence in the basketball scene for college that their media rights will make up for that just on the basketball side. They're going to make the Pac-12 that much more relevant on the basketball side of things. So it's kind of no-brainer for both sides, because the WCC is a no-name league other than the fact that they have Gonzaga in it. And now, honestly, the WCC is probably happier because, like, now that Gonzaga's out, that auto bid is kind of like just up for grabs, you know. But just interesting to see Gonzaga make this move, kind of setting up the future when Mark Few leaves and he's replaced with he did name his successor. It's his assistant coach. I forget his name, but obviously he's not going to be there forever, kind of getting older in years. But just an interesting move by the Pac-12, by Gonzaga. But yeah, it won't take effect till 2027 because
so they're still stuck there till 27?
Kind of not stuck, but I think since the Pac-12 is technically like it was dying and reforming, it gives them time because they have to get to, I think it's 10 schools in order to be eligible for like national tournaments and stuff like that. And I think they're currently at 8. They're trying to get Memphis, which would be another big basketball name, not quite football, but basketball name, bigger basketball name.
The Pac-12 is, or the WCC?
Yeah, the Pac-12. WCC, I don't think is doing anything.
Dude, I hate like the geography makes zero sense in any of these.
Mm-hmm.
Memphis is in Tennessee. They're nowhere close to the Pacific.
It's all that money, dude. It's all that money. That's all they want. That's all they want.
I am glad that Gonzaga is finally moving to a real conference because, like, yeah, obviously they're a basketball powerhouse and they're doing really good, but like their conference is awful. Like they're playing like Portland and like Saint whoever, Loyola Marymount, like Pepperdine. I was like, dude, what is like? Go to a real conference and like actually play somebody. So it's just obviously they're gonna, win the league every year. But anyways,
yeah, always in the tournament. I think they have the longest Sweet 16 run currently going on, which is impressive in itself.
Yeah,
obviously, like you said, they're always in the tournament, but to make it to the Sweet 16, like literally consistently, and being in a Mickey Mouse league, which like the competition is not very high, which Mark Few makes up for in the non-league. He schedules pretgoing hard in the non-league, obviously, to give them some competition. They're playing Baylor opening night this week. This year, which is that's going to be that's gonna be a really good game.
That
They're
is gonna be a
both
good game.
projected like top 15 teams.
Good for
So
them. Yeah, I think it's really that record you just brought up is pretty tough because like we've seen Kentucky, for example, crash out the last 2 years in a row. So just having a record like that is pretty crazy, even if you do play in a cupcake league. So anything can happen.
Sure. Anything can happen. Excited to see the college basketball season start here soon. A lot of stories coming out with the transfer portal, different coaches switching around. You mentioned Kentucky and their new coach, BYU, new coach, a lot of new coaches. Louisville, we got Noah Waterman at Louisville, which a lot of people are saying they'll do good. I don't really see it, unfortunately, because there's not a lot of national media hype going on, kind of more just stateside. But a lot of good stories, interesting stuff to keep up with. But I think that's a pod, Sammy.
It is a pod.
Alrighty. Well, we appreciate you guys tuning in. Prayers for everybody in Florida and North Carolina. Currently, Florida going through another hurricane right after Helene already came through. But prayers for them. Check us out on all the platforms that we're on: YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Like, follow. Appreciate you guys, and we'll catch you on the next one. Peace.